All children seem to love Santa Claus. I say seem because there are some children who are actually terrified when forced to sit on Santa's knees. Santa is seen as a jolly, friendly character with his ho-ho-ho and best wishes for all, and a person you can trust, right? However, over the last few years, Santa's good image has been tarnished somewhat by some extremely troubling events. We've discovered some cases involving Santa which are quite chilling, and some remain unsolved mysteries. After reading the following stories, you might be a bit apprehensive next time you plan to go to the mall to visit this chubby man dressed in red, looking like everyone's perfect idea of a loving granddad. Let's take a look at 9 disturbing mysteries involving bad Santas. Number 9. 1927 robbery. On December the 23rd, 1927, in the central Texas town of Cisco, 3 con men, Marshall Ratliff, dressed up as Santa Claus, Henry Helms and Robert Hill, robbed the First Central Bank. As the people were busy with their Christmas shopping, Marshall walked into the bank where the children rushed towards him thinking Santa Claus had come to town, only to realise seconds later that he was really a bank robber, when his 2 friends entered the bank after him with pistols. The police quickly turned up to the scene, and after a shootout with police, the 3 men were able to escape with 2 young girls as hostages. Police eventually found the getaway car along with the hostages alive and well. The 3 men were eventually found. Robert Hill was given life in prison. Helms and Marshall Santa Claus Ratliff were sentenced to death. The robbery is infamous in Texas history and evoked one of the largest manhunts ever seen. Number 8. Santa Heist. In 2009, a man dressed up as Santa Claus and wearing sunglasses robbed a bank in Tennessee. He explained to the teller in a jolly manner that he was stealing the money to pay his elves. He fled the scene and pulled off the heist without any problems. The following year, a second attempt at another bank robbery on St. Patrick's Day, police say, was believed to be robbed by the same man. Dressing up as a leprechaun this time, the man attempted to pull off a second heist. However, he got embroiled in a gunfight with police. The man was found to be David Cotton, who eventually escaped and was later found in a nearby field where he'd shot himself. Mystery still remains whether David Cotton was also the robber of the Santa Claus bank heist. Number 7. SANTACON. Since its inception in 1998, the annual HEIST SANTACON pub crawl has created a tremendous amount of problems for the city of New York. This was never more true than the 2015 event, which led to 9 arrests and 70 summonses for various drunk and disorderly offences. The event, which starts early in the day and then continues long into the night, consists solely of people dressed up as Christmas characters, where the majority of the people dress up as Santa Claus. SANTACON's North American roots are in San Francisco, where there's a much gentler vibe. The New York chapter has had recurring problems with violence and theft. Organisers argue that the event does more harm than good for the city, even though large chunks of the profits go to worthy causes. Hoboken Police Chief Kenneth Ferranti is quoted as saying that SANTACON is an unnecessary, unsanctioned event and the charity donations don't justify people coming to Hoboken and putting other visitors and residents at risk. Number 6. Cannabis Santa. On January the 5th, 2015, Randy Longy walked into the Monterey County branch of Buffalo Wild Wings restaurant dressed up as Santa Claus and brought with him a duffel bag containing 5 football-sized amounts of pot, weighing in and over 2 pounds. The fake Santa spoke to customers and told them he'd brought them presents and began placing samples of the pot into their hands. Employees also received a surprise when their tip jars were filled with a hefty bag of weed. Most people in the restaurant found this behaviour to be quite disturbing, and the police were immediately called. Upon their arrival, Longy was weirdly calm and consensual. Police Sergeant Nick Borgs recalls it was just surreal. He said he expected to be arrested, for doing this at some point, which sounded like this was not his first time. Lange was charged for dealing in marijuana, which was further bolstered when police searched his home and found another 2 pounds of cannabis. Number 5. Berlin's markets. In Germany, tourists and locals flock to Berlin every December to enjoy some of the best Christmas markets in the world. However, in 2011, the custom took a dark turn as a mysterious man dressed as Santa Claus drugged over a dozen unsuspecting people. Dubbed the Schnapp Spiker, the perpetrator approached his victims in a jolly mood and claimed that he had just become a father and was offering free drinks in celebration. These drinks, however, were laced with liquid ecstasy, which had been commonly used at rave parties but was also used as a date rape drug. Shortly after being consumed, it can cause vomiting, dizziness, and in some cases loss of consciousness. The chief of Alexanderplatz Christmas market, Charles Bloom, offered a €1,000 reward to anyone who captured the Schnapp Spiker, stating this was a dirty and cowardly act and he has to be stopped. Unfortunately, no arrests have been made, and a year later, a drugging took place at another Berlin market, which many assume is the same Santa Claus. Number 4. Helicopter heist. On November the 27th, 2015, a man in full Santa costume entered the Campo de Marte airport in Sao Paulo, Brazil, looking to hire a helicopter. It was the beginning of the Christmas shopping season and was also Brazilian Black Friday. The Santa Claus was asked by the helicopter's pilot why he wanted to rent a helicopter, and he stated that he wanted to surprise someone on the special day. The pilot was shocked when the man revealed a weapon, instructing him to fly to a farm located away from the city. The hijacker then picked up an accomplice, and the duo proceeded to tie the pilot up before making their getaway in the newly stolen helicopter. And we assume his accomplice knew how to fly a helicopter. After several hours, the pilot was able to free himself and inform the police of the hijacking. The 2 men and the helicopter were never caught, and the Santa Claus helicopter case remains unsolved to this day. Number 3. KFC Santa. On the night of December the 19th, 2015, in Derbyshire, England, a man dressed as Santa Claus climbed through the drive-through window of a KFC restaurant where the man's identity was hidden from view. This bad Santa looted all the money that was in the till, then placed into his sack and forced the KFC staff at knife point to open the store's safe. Derbyshire police were unable to get a good description of the robber, stating the man wore a red hat, red trousers and a red jacket and had his face covered. That means everyone dressed as Santa that day is a suspect, which is a lot of shopping mall Santas. It's still unknown how much money was taken from the store. The case still remains unsolved. Number 2. Chocolate thief. On December the 10th, 2004, Elkin Clark dressed up as Santa Claus and began selling boxes of Hershey's chocolates in Atlanta. While selling the chocolates, he claimed he came across the customer from hell, stating, "She was stealing my stuff. I asked 10 to 15 times not to touch my stuff," where Clark claims the elderly woman stole 29 boxes of chocolates from him, to the value of $145. But bizarrely, police found no evidence of her theft. Witnesses to the event claims Clark was the one that flipped out for no reason. Now this is where it gets weird. They say that he picked up a large board and hit the woman on the back of the head. 2 local university students who saw the horrifying incident attempted to run over to protect the elderly woman. Disturbingly, Clark hit the woman twice more while she lay on the ground. The woman died from her injuries 1 month later. Clark attempted to have his charges reduced on the grounds that the woman, who was 74 years of age, died due to underlying health problems. His appeal was unsuccessful. Number 1. COVINA Massacre. On Christmas Eve 2008 in Covina, a suburb of Los Angeles, Bruce Jeffrey Pardo went on a killing spree. The targets of his rage were his ex-wife and her family after learning of the granting of their divorce a week prior. Dressed as Santa Claus, Pardo knocked on the door of his former-in-law's house, whom were having a party, holding a wrapped gift containing various weapons. The daughter of his former sister-in-law was thrilled at seeing Santa Claus at the door. However, when she went to greet him, Pardo shot her, and then her family soon after. The daughter survived, however 9 others didn't make it. Pardo wasn't finished there. He then sprayed more bullets at fleeing partygoers, and then he used a homemade flamethrower. Pardo was found by police 30 miles away at his brother's house, where he was found dead due to an apparent suicide. He had removed his Santa suit and left it in his own car, which was booby-trapped to trigger an explosion when inspected. Although his improvised bomb exploded, thankfully no one was hurt. In Pardo's possession was $17,000 in cash and a plane ticket to Canada, so presumably he had intentions of escaping.